Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today you got myself, Lieutenant Coop. We have our wonderful local talent. I don't want to tap on him too hard. He's got a little burn going on.
Red.
Captain McFarland.
Sunscreened everything but my arms.
Joining us again, who's starting to become a regular on the show, we have Lieutenant Shaughnessy.
I told you if I just continue to show up, eventually.
We'll make him a permanent resident of the show eventually.
It's another talking head. It's boring, just me and Coop up here.
So we wanted to have a little chat about our CAP program and then post transfers because we've been getting a few more of both. So we just wanted to make sure that everybody had the information. We've done a show or we've done a podcast on the CAP program before in the past, but I don't think we've ever actually done one on the post transfer. If
I don't know.
I
It's
think
probably
it was like
time
a
for a
brief note on it
refresher.
or something. But we figured it was time to get everybody an update and be like, hey, so here's a refresher on how to go about that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's tackle the post transfer first. I just want to jump right in. The one thing to keep in mind with that is patience. I know we say that a lot about certain processes or processes that we have here. The reason for that is because it's affecting more than just one person's livelihood or life, work life, home life. And so we have to kind of navigate that delicately because we are essentially moving one person's, someone from where their dog bowl is every day to a new spot. And we have to do that. He does it really well, and these guys do. I'm not as good at the schedule, but
I don't do it.
that's true.
You should see every time that
Brown,
somebody gets removed,
yeah.
I send Brown a meeting.
Him and
I'm like,
Brown,
"Get
but
this
no,
thing
you're
good."
like me.
does
Every
too.
once in a while, you're good for you'll be like, ooh, this guy's perfect for this, and it actually sticks.
Yeah.
As far as looking at the matrix, I just looked at the freaking light. I did it again.
all right.
As far as looking at the
It's
matrix,
a puzzle. It's one gigantic puzzle. And so what happens is we get the post transfer request in,
burn my eyes.
and that's on eHub. When you go log into eHub, you go to the document section, and there's that post transfer. You've got to download that, fill out the form, and then you send it to HR. HR will then forward it to me. I will take a look at the schedule. If it's something that's an easy change and we can take care of it in 30 days, we take care of it in 30 days. Most of the time, we get those in, and it's not something that can be changed in 30 days. It's something that's going to take me 60 to 90 because it's exactly what they're saying is we're taking one person who's requesting a post transfer and we're moving them to a completely different post where there are either already a full staffing or some other complication with the schedule change. And so it's not something that's a plug and play. I wish it was. It would make my life a whole lot easier. Yeah. But there's other considerations to take into an account when we're doing something like that. So we ask for that patience because it can take anywhere from 30 to 90 days just based on what you're requesting from where you're coming from. And that's something else that we have to take into account is where are you coming from? Are you coming from a post that's easily covered, or are you coming from a high-end, high stress, high-end job?
A lot of moving parts
that requires a ton of training. Are you moving to something from one I'd say like high-end post to a
entry level,
or no, I would say from moving from Union Station to KCATA. That's one post that requires 40 hours of training because of how much they do there, to another post that requires 40 hours of training because of how much you do there. And so I have to find someone who can do the training and get them in the training, and then I move you over to your new training. And so there are other things that we have to take into account is not just where are you going, but where are you coming from.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of sites where, from our aspect, knowing our officers, that you just know, they want to move over to a certain site, and you're like, hey, it might look good, it might look fun if you were there for a second, but, I know my team out there, and it's nothing against the officer. It's just I don't think that you're like that you'll mesh with that client or the team out there. Yeah. So, I mean, whenever people are like, I want to move from this one to this one, sometimes it's just not possible because of the amount of training and the amount of stuff that goes on. I mean,
there's a lot of working parts. So just keep that in mind. We have some impatient people. We also have people that are very patient. So.
When it also could be like, we know somebody plans to leave or something, and we're like, okay, well, you can take that spot over after they leave, but that it can't be an immediate thing. And I'm pretty sure that when you start with us, there's like a probation period before you can even put a post transfer.
Most of the time,
yeah. Most of the time, go in the training class. We'll pull you out. And we'll give you the.
He does the offer letter,
right? And that's kind of like
this is what you're going to have for a while.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going to be stuck there.
No, and that's the thing is that everybody's got that when you first sign your offer letter. There is a consideration of, yeah, you can have to work this for the next, I think it's 60 days is what it says in the offer letter. Don't quote me. You would think I would know that I do offer letters every week. I would just, but there's a certain time frame that you're supposed to work the schedule that you're agreeing to on the offer letter.
Yeah.
Now that's not saying, like you said, that something miraculous happens and in that time frame that you're doing that, you go above and beyond so much to be like, you know what, this officer might be a really good fit for this other post, and we cut it short.
Or
That's different. you
Or
know.
this leads us to our next point: is this officer has shown a lot of potential? We want to give them more responsibility. CAP program. So
Right.
I just want to double back. The post transfer is an eHub, and it says post transfer. That's a form you fill out, download it, fill it out, and send it to HR. So that's the process for that, and then someone will reach out, more than likely one of the lieutenants, and just kind of say, hey, this is our plan we have.
More than likely Lieutenant Brown.
What's your
Really
availability?
bad at those.
Excuse me, is it still the same availability now? And we get it, like if you're, go down to one car, your spouse, and you have to share something, we can work with you as best we can, but it's not just you that this is affecting, which is why it takes time.
Well, I think it's also important when they call and say, what's your availability, that they're not, like, just be honest.
Yes.
Don't tell us, oh, I have open availability, and then when we get you a new post, you're like, oh, well, I can't work this because I got this going on. Well,
I
why
remember,
didn't you tell us that?
I remember when I did offer letters or helped with him, we would kind of switch off weeks. I would go into the class, and I was a little more firm than the rest of the lieutenants,
What?
except for
No
one.
way.
And I would just say, hey, if you're not going to give me the right availability, this is a bad relationship from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so just be honest. If it's 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, I'm going to tell you it's very rare. I have people that worked here for years that don't have that. Because
I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't. The chief of security doesn't have
So
that.
I've
Him
been-
and I work every single weekend.
So
Now,
I've
we're
been
not
here.
always...
I've been here a decade, and I don't
Yeah.
work that.
Yeah, I we don't suit up and
But that's not saying
go to
we
post
work-
on the weekends.
Right.
But him and I are doing use of force reviews, and we're helping out the LTs that rarely actually need our help anymore because they're so fantastic. But
Stop.
but
Blush.
we still plug in just because we would have a huge pile to pick up on Monday, so it's easier just to kind of chip away at it. But then so that leads me to the CAP program. And these guys will kind of give their piece on it too. But what you're going to do is you're essentially going to get endorsed by a lieutenant. That doesn't mean you say, hey, Lieutenant Coop endorsed me, and then he's like, who is this person? Not a good look. So get close with the lieutenant. Don't pester him, but just be like, hey, I really want to move up. And that relationship you build with a lieutenant will get you in a position to where you'll be more successful because they're going to take you through certain roles and certain duties and responsibilities that just your entry-level supervisor needs to have.
And it might be something as simple as you're working a site that's 24/7 coverage that doesn't have a site supervisor. And I know that we've got, me and you, that officer, have got a really good working relationship. And I might say, hey, so I've got some stuff that I need to get done here. I don't have the ability to sit here for 30 minutes and do it. Can you knock this small task out for me every couple of days and then just give me an update? And that might just be the introduction of me saying, hey, this is me testing the waters, and how you do
Right.
on that. We'll determine looking at you and going, hey, you know what? You've done really well on that. I want you to apply to a CAP program and put my name down.
Yep, that's exactly how the process is supposed to work. You'll come in, you'll do not like a test, but they'll have you do
Like an interview.
yeah,
like a
basically
written interview.
it's to see how proficient you are with computers. You can be a big meathead like me, but I still have to know your basic, Excel, Word, occasionally PowerPoint. I just had to make one for a class that me and Leon instructed over the weekend. Which my transitions on my slides were way better than his. Is just the generic next slide.
Yeah.
Mine folded up into a piece of origami and floated away one time, and then I have like the swivels. Yeah.
Back on track, Buck.
Yep. Sorry. Squirrel. But that's something that we put you through so we can kind of gauge rather than because everybody's going to talk themselves up. Oh yeah, I'm awesome at this or I'm awesome at that. I suck at Excel, but
That's the
I can
advantage
get
of me
by.
is I'm so honest about it.
Yeah.
When someone asks me, are you good at this? I go, no, absolutely not.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
willing
no.
to learn and try, but I'm
Yeah.
garbage at that right now.
Yeah, and so we kind of put you in a little bit of a scenario where you're going to juggle multiple things at once, and that is to see how well you handle pressure because it's going to only the way I explain it. And some people really thrive when they get promoted. Others kind of go backwards. I've noticed over the years, and the best way to explain it is a little bit more money for a lot more responsibility.
Yeah.
But you're building yourself a career here. Everybody at the lieutenant level and up is set if they continue to do their job and keep showing up. And as long as we're able to ops side of things, and it's my job along with the rest of the LTs is to keep the lights on. So, and we're not ever going to stop trying. So everybody's got a career here that wants one. They just have to put in the effort. You show up, you do your job, you follow directions, you make mistakes, but you admit to them, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
I make mistakes every day.
I think it's important that if somebody were to call, because people will call the lieutenant line and not know what lieutenant they're about to talk to, right? And they say, will you endorse me? I have no idea who you are, right?
Yeah.
So if I say no, it's not a jab at you,
No, yeah.
It's I know what it takes to be a supervisor here. I know the responsibilities that we do, and you might just not be ready for it yet.
Yep.
And
There's
that doesn't
nothing
mean
wrong.
in 4 months, you can ask me, what do I do? Like I was just talking about, I rarely will endorse anybody.
Well, that's your credibility.
right.
If
Exactly.
you have
And
a bunch of
that's
people
why
that-
I want it to be important if
Yeah, it
somebody's to
says-
get my endorsement.
We have a cap list, and sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
you're
this is a good talking point here. We have a cap list. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet, and it's got
This calls
the
for a
officer's name. Yeah, Lieutenant Brown spreadsheet, and so it'll have the officer's name, I think what they currently work, maybe, and phone number, email, and then
Where they're
who,
current
and then-
where we see them
Current
projected for.
It's current availability.
or yeah. Anyway, at the very end, it'll have a lieutenant or my name next to it.
Yeah.
And that's for people that we have endorsed. And so if that guy comes across and he's just awful, and it's like, why does Lieutenant Shaughnessy have 10 people in here that suck?
Right.
And so it's just, we're not willy-nilly about it. And like you said, and I remember going over this the last time we talked about the CAP program. Just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's a no forever.
Right.
And that actually...
And generally, when a lieutenant tells you no or a captain tells you no, it's not just a straight up no. It's a not at
Here's
the
some
moment,
homework.
but here's some things that you can
Yeah,
improve on
exactly.
that would make you better in the future. So when you ask me again in 60 days, we'll give it 60 days.
Yeah.
These are the homework tasks I need you doing. So that way, when you ask me in 60 days, I can say, how has this been going? Or I can look at your post and go, you've taken advantage of this and you've been doing this correctly and you've done your homework.
Yeah, you haven't been
and-
late.
and
You
now
haven't
you're
missed
better.
any shifts. You didn't have any...
Well, and I
you know,
think it's also important to say it's not just your relationship that you have with us, like
No.
friendly wise, because I have no patience when it comes to excessive brown nosing or stuff like that. Yeah. That will not get you in the CAP program
I mean,
quicker. I'm evaluating your
you can ask
work
Lieutenant Shaughnessy here. I think I harassed you. I still technically do kind of
on a daily basis.
on a daily basis, but I'm probing him to make sure he's better, and so he has these answers, and I'm hard on him in certain
keeping the
situations.
guys on your toes,
making
yeah.
sure he's learning and he's adapting, because there are going to be times that I'm not available, or I need him or his brother Lieutenant Brown to step up to the plate because I can't do something because I'm in the hospital, I'm out of town, I'm on vacation.
Right.
How rare and rare they are. But there are times that I need them to step up because I know Captain doesn't have the time to do it, where these two have that ability.
Yeah.
And I harass them about certain things because I need to know that if I go down mysteriously, somebody there has got the ability to do it.
Right. But we're all friends because of the
Yes.
we're the same rank, we're all that. It didn't start out that way because the both of you, pushed me more and more every day, and it's because you were looking at my work, not
Yeah. Well,
my
we saw the
friendship with you
motor.
guys.
We saw the
Yeah.
motor.
It's the same. With,
Right.
It's the
So,
same. It's the
Again,
exact same with
it's his
Lieutenant
day
Brown.
off, and
Yeah.
he's here. So-
Whatever. But it's not like we were friends before this. It's not like we.
No, I didn't know who you were. I was like, who's that weird tall guy?
I think
know.
a lot of officers will try and do that, where they're like, "Oh, tell me about your family."
actually
I'm
gonna
not
make
telling you about my family.
It'll make
you
it
know?
worse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably
Like,
going to annoy people more.
I have the supervisors over once a year, well, twice a year. I'll do a pool party, and then I'll do something in the fall just to kind of help give Leon's place a break, because he likes to do little get-togethers, pizza and beer and stuff. And that's about it. That's the most interaction. And these guys are like family to me. But
I don't think I've had any of you over to my place.
yeah, I think I've.
Like, that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
just because we have that working relationship, sure. And
It just gets
when-
weird.
Yeah.
If you spend too much time, I spend 60, 50, 60 hours a week with these guys as it is. I don't I don't need any more time with him. I'm also
I
a
call him
hermit.
all the time. I call him all the time. He's like,
I'm
"What?"
also a hermit. No, you probably bothered me once a weekend, dude. Not even. I don't even think you called me at all this last weekend.
Yeah.
You guys just don't need to. You know, you guys have really grown into your roles, which is, now you guys need to start building. I mean, I've been building my team for about a year and a half. And so you guys will soon start building your teams, and that's just kind of how that works.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the person's personality. I mean, you could have a terrible personality, but
It's all about-
work really hard because I can work on the personality part.
Yes.
You know,
If you got a good
but
motor,
if you have a good personality and your work is terrible, your work ethic's awful, you're late every day.
yeah, it's
We're not going to
work.
be able to correct that.
No. If you got a good motor, you're not going to do anything unethical, illegal, or immoral. We can do. Leon coined this, and I think it's from a Navy SEAL instructor. He goes, "If you got a good leader, it's pretty crazy what you can do with a bunch of meatheads.
Yeah.
You got to have one good leader." And
I was
so
watching
that's
a
just
podcast. I can't
how we
remember.
operate.
I was watching a podcast. I can't remember who it was, but it's this. It's very similar to that. He goes, "You don't need an army." He goes, "You need 3 people. You need 3 bad mofo's."
Yep.
He goes, "You can take over government with 3 mofo's. That's all you need." 3.
Yeah, I
can't
know exactly what you're
I
talking
I
about.
can't remember who it is, but I think it's on Rogan's show, isn't it?
Rogan or some military
Yeah,
one.
but
the
he's-
Sean Ryan show is one of my favorites.
But they're talking about it, and it's legitimately. He goes, "I don't need an army. I need 3 guys. You give me 3 guys, 3 great guys, and I can take over government." And it's not wrong. I don't need 50 people. I don't need a team of 50 to do well. I need a team of 6. Six officers that do everything they can. They've got the best motor. They do above and beyond normal work. And with those 6, you can do almost any event out there that we get, or any
four
post.
quarters. 4 quarters is better than $1 or 100 pennies.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
have you guys never heard that?
know.
That
4
must be
quarters is better than
the new
100
Gen
pennies?
Z. What generation are you?
I don't
Are you
know.
Gen Zer?
I don't know. I don't know.
What's before?
Jocko Willink.
Well, think about it. You
Yeah.
know, you got
Jocko's,
4 quarters that you got
The guy that's just like red all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can tell he's just,
you
he's
got
like
4
a big old
quarters. You
vein.
don't lose track of them. You know, you don't lose. You got 100 pennies. Whatever, man.
If I take 100 pennies or 4
I was
quarters,
before we
I'd
sat
steal
down. I was like, what are
$1.
they going to make fun of me for today?
That's gonna
That
be this.
comment.
It's going to be that
It's gonna be
comment.
this.
Did that comment process go through your head when you thought about how we were going to make fun of you?
No, but I knew there was going to
Obviously
be
not.
something.
Is that an admission of your Titans guilt?
Obviously,
You'll have to be a little bit more specific on that.
Titans Guild.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got a room full of people.
Okay, so
that
now I found out how to play back the
Totally.
comments, and I'm who is the person that comments all
Is
the time?
Diego back or
They
is he
have
still doing
No,
some
he's still
stuff?
out.
they have a kind of like a soldier as their profile
He's gonna
picture.
have a lot to catch up.
Who is
I
that?
don't know.
Is it 400 kittens?
No, it's like Cali.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need-
don't,
we need
you're
to
not
get-
saying the
I'm not.
full name.
Yeah, I'm not saying the name, but
We need to
You're not
get-
saying the full name for
Yeah,
really good
no, I
reason.
know exactly what.
Because if you're in here, he knows because I've told him live. I've told him on the podcast before. I know who you are, and your name's hilarious, but I'm never gonna say it out loud, like the full name of it.
Right.
You never told me this. I don't know.
but
about
I
this
want to know
person.
who it is.
Yeah, you do.
Write it down and let me see it.
You know the person's
You'll s-
name?
Yeah, I know it is.
I don't know.
I'm never gonna give him credit
it-
on
You're
on
gonna,
air
you're gonna
either.
tell me.
Is it an officer?
Because I want to know.
Yes.
Because he was the one that made the
Yeah.
middle-aged white woman comment.
Yes.
Oh, I played
Yes.
it back.
Totally
I
not.
played it back.
Not telling you now. That was too perfect. But no, I've openly told him on air before. I'm never going to say your name, like the full YouTube name.
name.
that goes in,
That's what he wants.
because of what there's a word in it that I won't
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
because it's live.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
won't say it on YouTube. Period.
Shit.
No.
I don't know.
There he is.
That was unnecessary.
There it is. Drink every time Cap makes a sports or a car related analogy. Well, he'd be the sports one. I'd be the car.
I do cars every once in a while. Motor.
Back on topic. Back on topic.
You're on
excuse me.
topic.
Okay.
So this is why, or the reason I'm this color, is because I went to the NASCAR race. It's the
Ah.
greatest thing ever. It was fantastic. I'm not like a crazy NASCAR. I don't have any like NASCAR memorabilia really, but I just like
You know the one thing I love cars. I love racing and stuff like that.
so loud.
NASCAR is so hard for me to get behind, though. It always has been, just because it's so. To me, it's so predictable.
The new ones are so the last 2 or 3 seasons.
drive
With,
in a
I like
circle.
Indy. Yeah,
You're gonna drive in a
So,
circle.
Like I like Indy and stuff
well,
like
it's
that.
not
But
just
my
like
favorite
there's
is rally.
ovals, tri-ovals. There's a bunch of road courses. They actually have one in Chicago this year. It's going to be a road course in Chicago. They do rain races
Yeah.
now. They do night races.
It's getting
there's
a
so
whole
much,
lot better.
Yes, there's so much science that goes into like if it's a hot day, how the track.
Yep.
And so it's really cool. But the last 2 or 3 seasons with the next gen, vehicles, it's not so much like the top 6 guys are the same 6 guys every race.
It's been the same for the past 10 years.
Yes, there's so like 3 or 4 years ago, the mile and a half. I don't know how. Someone probably smarter than me knows, but the mile and a half tracks always had like 3 or 4 guys on the lead lap, which means that everybody else is a lap down. So they got to pass them and then pass them again. Yeah. And so, but now, like Kansas is one of those. Kansas was really cool. Hamlin punted Larson at the very end to win. And yeah, and so then there was a fight between Ross Chastain and the Greg something, because that's a rookie, and he was fighting them like a made man, yeah. And so, but he's just like, I'm just not. The guy was racing him dirty or something, I don't know, but I wasn't as involved because I'm actually at the race, and so like I can't. The screens they had there were trash.
You can't nitpick.
Well, and I couldn't see a lot of like what's going on, and I was just watching for Blaney the whole time. He didn't do so hot. He was negative.
Say my name. Say my name.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. Because he knows I won't.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
never going to.
That's it. So my dad actually, from his work, was able to drive a NASCAR at the Kansas City Speedway.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it's called a NASCAR, a race car.
It's a race car.
Yeah.
But it's a
NASCAR race car. You could say that.
Xfinity or no? Yeah, it's a NASCAR.
Still.
NASCAR.
But he was so excited to just hear our last name over the thing, and they said Shahaganessy. I don't think he ever.
Coop used to ride.
Actually, no. I rode a regular bus, thank you. But so...
That's what they told you, buddy. That's what they told you.
The other ones
so
were extra long
those
buses.
were really cool.
Yeah.
But there was probably, I think it was the third race of, they had the special cars.
Oh, like
Sorry, I can't move off the
But they had
comments.
the special cars.
Yeah.
And I got to drive one of those. The race finished up, and I think it was like the next day they were getting ready to do qualifiers, and they had the special where they had certain people that got
like funny cars.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
mean? Yeah, okay.
and I got to drive one.
Oh, cool.
I only got a lap, and I couldn't go over like 40 miles an hour, but it was still it's just
Well, but still,
really
it's
cool
the experience.
Yeah,
My little brother got to drive. He's got an Acura, and he got to drive that on Kansas Speedway. They wouldn't let him do the turns though because the banking's like
Yeah.
30 degrees.
Oh, yeah,
but
it's
they had
massive.
to come back down to the middle. Yeah.
There's a lot of tracks that you can just bring your car to, and
There's
not
one.
not the speedway, obviously,
no,
but
they would let
There's a
you.
road course one. It's probably like a local club you got to be a part of. It's in between here and Omaha. When I go visit, I got family in Omaha, and it's in So there's a little patch of Iowa you go through when you go 29 north to Omaha, and so you hit Iowa for like
He almost did,
20
Cody.
miles.
Huh?
They asked if someone spit water out their nose. They said he almost did.
I almost did. I don't have water. I don't drink. I don't remember the last time I drank water.
That's not.
Now, that would
healthy.
explain a whole lot.
I was explaining to
Water's
somebody.
my
I was explaining to
favorite
somebody.
drink.
Water is the base of all these drinks, right? And if my body is not good enough
Okay,
to
this is
separate
like-
the water from the toxins, then my body needs to get better.
So this is
No,
you know
that's
what
not
that
how that
reminds me of?
works.
Somebody asked me one time. I saw a meme on it. It was you need water to survive, and they go, "Well, coffee's water. Coffee is not water. Well, it's filtered water. It's not the same.
Base of it.
It's not the same.
I love
I don't know what to
water.
tell you.
Probably my second favorite drink on the planet,
Water.
or first favorite. You still put that game fuel stuff in there?
Mm-hmm.
Sneak.
Then it's not water.
Sneak
Then it's not water.
By the time like now it is.
starts the day off with. That's the one thing I've always been proud of myself. I've got a lot of vices. I do not require caffeine, and that way, if I don't get it, like I don't want to be the point where like if I don't have caffeine, I'm just like worthless.
Live off of caffeine.
I'm,
You're
I'm
just
worthless
normally
already.
worse.
Everybody always asks me how I like operate off of 3 hours of sleep, and it's because I drink like 7 of these a day.
I don't think I would openly admit that. There might be a doctor who chimes in on this periodically and thinks that you're gonna
Hey, I
die.
tell my doctor all the time. He says, "Don't do that." You know, I'm gonna still do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
now
fair.
they're debating. Do we call you Lieutenant Lulu or Lieutenant
Shahaganessy.
Shahaganessy? Sorry, I was laughing. That was too funny.
I think I would prefer the Shahaganessy.
I don't know. Your face
Just
was,
because-
I put the camera on you when I said that, and your face was priceless. I'm sorry.
Just because the Lieutenant Lulu, that's just too many L's. If you were
Yeah,
to call me
that's a lot going
Shahaganessy,
on.
I'll still respond because people will call me that my entire life.
I get McFarlane all the time. I'm like, it's Lynn.
I've been
It's
called
L-I-N.
McFarlane like
Ah,
7 times in the
McFarland.
last 2 weeks.
because you're my prodigy.
Yeah.
Brown is being stolen by the nerd.
Yes.
He's more of, like that's his.
You know,
That's
the
his,
best
that-
part
that's
is I
his
called it a
stepdad.
long time ago, and he fought me on it.
That's his
Hey,
stepdad.
I win.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I called it a long time ago.
He's still
So
mine.
Brown's
He's
mine. He
he's
goes,
still
"No, no, no."
mine. He's
Well,
just
it's 'cause-
he's like your stepchild. You're
He's my prodigy.
Yes.
Yeah, we're the same way when
Step.
it's like we can do the scheduling if we ultimately have to. I'm just so
Yeah, if I
bad at
force
it,
you
and my
to do it,
my
you can
brain
do it.
cannot work that way.
Well, it's just like why would you have me do something that could take you like literally a
2 seconds.
fraction of
Yeah.
the time. To
You
do.
just click a couple
like I
buttons.
know you got a lot going on, but
What,
it's just
Coop? What
like
are they
2
saying?
clicks.
What are they saying?
Captain McFartlane.
Oh, that one.
Oh.
I haven't heard that one. In a while.
Oh, that's a
Been
good
minute. It's been a
one.
minute.
That one. I
That's
didn't do
pretty good,
myself
though.
any favors. I bleached my whole head blonde, like neon blonde, so they just call me Grandpa all the time.
Yeah.
Why
But
would you
my
do- why did
eyebrows
you do
didn't-
that?
Because it was like
When did you do that?
in the 90s.
Oh,
It was like a thing to do.
When we were kids.
Yeah. It was like boy band
I
stuff.
can't say anything. I did the same thing. I had
that frosted
blonde
tips.
stripes.
nice.
I never did the frosty tips.
No, I did stripe. I used to spike my hair.
I did the
and then I would
whole
do stripes
thing.
and the spikes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was bad.
So I actually did mine like a zebra.
What?
Yeah, like black and white stripes. Never mind.
Okay.
So as soon as that joke left my mouth, I knew it was bad. Never mind.
No, I just did the whole head. I look like a Q-tip. I just dipped my head.
I remember when we were
Yes,
a kid, we used to use
Michael,
lemon juice.
That is a big one. He goes, I like it when people call Coop Cooper, and they persist that it's Cooper.
Oh my god,
dude, it's
I
hilarious.
haven't heard anybody call you Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, all the time.
I've never
All
heard
the
that.
time.
I had an officer that called and said
All
he
the
talked to
time.
Cooper.
I have people leave me voicemails. Hey, Lieutenant Cooper, and I'm like, it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's Coop. How can I help you? They're like, Cooper. No, it's my name. I'm telling you that it is Coop, and they're like, Cooper.
There's one guy
No.
that anytime I answer the phone and I say Lieutenant Shaughnessy, he's like, yeah, Johnson. I'm like, no, no. And it's been happening since I got promoted, and now I'm just like, all right, I'm not even gonna try.
Oh yeah, you learn not to fight it. I
Yeah.
get Brian instead of Ryan a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, McFartland. What are some other ones?
I used to get Cope a lot.
Cope.
Cope.
There's a U in your
No
name.
idea. I know,
Good
dude.
coping.
Trust me, I know.
Coping.
AA Ron.
Aaron's common though. I mean, that's when we had two
Be
errands.
nice.
We had two errands here.
You're
nice.
just doing the Key and Peele stuff
Yeah.
now, aren't you?
we had
Nice.
we used to have two errands here, ERIN and AARON.
Yeah.
And so the differentiate between the two in the Neo class, I would say, who hired you, Aaron or Aaron? And every time everybody would go, Aaron. I'm like, thank you, because they say, who hired you? Big Aaron. Okay, there are two of them. I need to know which one was it,
Yeah.
Aaron or
Now there are
Aaron?
none. Now there are none.
Right.
Now there are none. Who gets a special shout out this week? Somebody did something really good. You know what? I'm gonna give it to Brown. He made a really veteran move.
He did over
Caught
the
something
weekend.
on the
Oh
radio.
yeah.
Caught
No,
that on the
that could have
radio.
been a bad. That could have
Someone
been
was
a
about
really
to
bad
hook
situation.
somebody up for conjecture or hearsay, and he goes,
I think,
No,
I think,
no,
that's,
no,
I
no,
think
no.
that's a good coaching time like coaching thing for the officers.
Coaching moment of the
if
day.
you did not observe it happen, or you
And
don't
it's
have
not- it's
substantial
not loss-
evidence,
yeah, it's not
you
loss
cannot
prevention
detain
telling you.
somebody.
Yeah.
yeah.
If there's an assault that takes place and they report it to you, call the police, because unless you watch the assault take place, you have no legal authority there.
I used to tell officers, and I still do periodically when I get the calls. It's very rare I get them anymore, but every now and then I'll get a call and asking about like loss prevention and theft like that. And I go, unless you saw them and you've had eyes on them the entire time they're in the store,
Yep.
walk away.
Yeah.
Make a report, give a good description, and give a time of when they walked out the door.
So
So
we can
that way they can backtrack it for
Yeah,
whoever that is.
or
So
if it's
loss
like a-
prevention can do it. I said, but outside of that, if you don't see it happen and you don't have eyes on the entire time they're in the store, don't do anything with it, because all you're
Right.
going to do is put yourself in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, or like a shopping cart full of stuff.
Yeah,
and you
I mean,
see
if
them
they're-
obviously
if they're
run
trying
past
to
every
push
point of
past you
purchase.
with a full grocery cart, obviously put your hand up, be like, hey, whoa, wait a minute, you have a receipt. If it's not
Right.
bagged and it looks odd, obviously.
But don't chase them in the parking lot.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, I'm
Don't
talking
chase
about
them
the
in
little
the
stuff.
Yeah. Don't even if
It's
somebody's
so
really
important
convincing
to know your legal
yeah.
authority.
If you guys have questions, reach out. Just always reach out. I'd rather you do that. I'm a very ask for forgiveness and permission person.
McFarland in the 90s. Coop, when we were kids. No, Coop, the 1990s. You're going too far back.
Wait.
I'm not that old.
Get it? Get it?
He's
It's
calling me
1890.
1890.
Yeah, he's calling me old.
That is like
That's funny.
vampire.
That's funny.
old.
It's nice. It's nice that I'm not the point of. making
Rude.
fun
Weren't
right
you
now.
born in like 99?
Yeah, 90s.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
you're
can still
barely
play
a
90s, baby.
No, you can't. You've never even like used a VCR.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you're a Gen Zer, I think.
I don't know. I don't
If
know.
he's
the
born in
gens.
99, I need some help here. What generation is he?
Why don't you Google it?
I was 9 years old. I already had facial hair by the time you were born.
No, you did
I
not.
might, yeah,
No, you
I was a late bloomer.
Anyway,
Late bloomer on facial hair.
anyway,
went from, like, normal
if
height
you have
to-
questions over your legal authority, read Title 17 of the Missouri statutes.
And call your supervisor.
And call your
call your-
supervisor.
the big one is-
I can answer it a
call
lot
your
quicker
That's
than
enough
reading that
SOP
stuff.
information to give out over the air. What else is there? So yeah, we went over the cap. Went over Post transfer request. Patience, young grasshopper.
Padawans.
Yeah, young Padawans. Patience.
All right.
Because that's really what it is. You just
So-
sit in a pool full of people, and once we have a spot that we think you'd fit in,
Yeah.
then that's when you move in.
And no on the cap is not always no forever. Keep in mind, we like to see how people deal with bad news, because we deal with bad news all day,
All day.
every
All day
day.
long.
Every day.
So if you're not good at taking bad news, if you're not good at delivering bad news, then a supervisor position may not be for you, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We have officers that have been here as long as I have that have been nothing but officers, and they're some of the best officers we have.
And their life is much
Simpler.
yes. So not to
And
discourage
there's
you guys.
nothing wrong
but
with it. I mean,
nothing.
they love their jobs. They love what
like
they
I
do.
tell everybody every week that I'm involved with the class, which isn't always every week, but every time I'm involved with class, I tell people, if you want to come do 32 hours, which is the minimum required for a full-time officer, and go home and clock out, clock in, clock out, that's perfectly fine as long as you are on time and reliable.
Yep.
And then if you want to come here and take on a bunch of extras, responsibility, then we will mold you or groom you into that position. So just have patience.
All right.
Yeah.
So
heat advisory.
diving into that, we have weather. It is going to be 82 tomorrow and high 70s. What Thursday is going to be low 70s, and then back in the 80s after that. It's supposed to rain
Every
Tuesday,
day.
Wednesday, Thursday. Although it was supposed to rain today, and that didn't work either. So
Did a little bit this morning.
did it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Started off kind of
Didn't count.
poopy outside. I'm gonna try and get a mow in today, I think.
I would if it's supposed to rain the rest of the week. So
That's
other than
just-
that,
that's old
dress
man
for the-
stuff you talk about.
dress for the weather. Stay hydrated, especially as the warmer it gets. The more
Yes.
water intake you need,
Yes.
the more water intake you need.
Oh, that was me. Okay, got it.
Yeah, set an example for these young officers.
So
which
make
is
sure you guys
yourself.
keep that going. So we need you guys healthy and working forever. Not naming anybody,
Stop
but looking
staring
at
at
somebody.
me. Stop staring at me. That's
That's the
so
second person. That's the second person in the last 72 hours you've had to tell to hydrate.
Podcast is becoming a full security service / news program. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Today
Cover all
on
your
news.
Cover all your news.
to tighten.
So we appreciate everything, guys. We're gonna call it for today. We will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for everything you guys do in the field. It allows us to continue to do stuff like this. We wouldn't be able to do this stuff without you. So thank you so much for everything. We appreciate it so much, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us.
Peace out.
back.